Why you don't need friends. After 76, reasons to embrace independence and live happier. Have you ever found yourself sitting quietly by the window, watching the trees sway in the breeze and realizing you're not lonely? You're just finally at peace. It's a strange, beautiful feeling, isn't it? After years of constant noise, expectations, gatherings and obligations, you step into a quieter chapter of life. And you discover that maybe, just maybe, the world inside you is richer than the world outside. Today, I want to talk to you like a friend, a soft, understanding conversation about why needing fewer friends after 70 isn't a loss. It's a gentle gain, because what if this chapter, this so-called quiet time, is actually the sweetest, most powerful season of your life? Stay with me until the end, because by the time we finish, you might see your independence not as something to fear, but as something to finally, fully embrace, like a soft blanket wrapping around your soul. Reason 1. You finally understand your own company is enough. When Harold turned 73, he didn't throw a big party, no balloons, no long guest lists, just a small cake, a cup of coffee, and a quiet afternoon on his porch. His neighbor Judy came by and asked, "Harold, aren't you lonely today? All by yourself?" Harold smiled, a smile that came from deep, unshakable peace. And he said, "You know, Judy, I've spent a lifetime chasing company. Today, for once, I'm chasing stillness, and I've never felt less alone." It took him a lifetime to realize you can be surrounded by people and still feel lonely, and you can be completely alone and feel completely full. When you reach a certain age, you realize the constant need for chatter, for plans, for invitations was never about real connection. It was about filling the empty spaces inside us. But now, you've grown into those spaces. You've built a beautiful garden inside yourself with memories, wisdom, laughter, and tears. And now you get to sit in that garden quietly, without needing anyone else to water it for you. This is not loneliness. This is fullness. This is the gift of your own beautiful company. Take a soft breath. Think about the last time you enjoyed your own presence without needing anyone else around. It might have been a small moment, sipping tea, sitting in the sun, reading an old favorite book. Those moments are not empty. They are proof that your soul has matured into something vast, something whole. Reason 2, fewer relationships means less drama and heartache. Margaret spent most of her younger years feeling like she was standing in the middle of a crowded room, trying to keep 100 spinning plates from crashing to the floor. Birthday parties, phone calls, hurt feelings, unspoken expectations, apologies for things she didn't even know she had done. There was always someone upset, someone who felt ignored, someone she had to make sure felt valued. And for a long time, Margaret thought, that's just life, that's just friendship. But at 76, sitting by her kitchen window one rainy afternoon, she realized something simple but life-changing. Real peace doesn't come from managing everyone else's emotions. It comes from finally setting yourself free from carrying them. All friendships are beautiful when they are easy, kind, and genuine. But not every friendship stays that way. Sometimes they twist quietly into obligations, into silent burdens, into unseen chains that keep pulling at your energy, your time, your heart. And at this stage of life, you don't owe anyone your peace anymore. You are allowed, warmly, kindly, without guilt, to step back from relationships that bring more drama than joy. Imagine your heart like a garden. After years of planting, watering, and tending to everyone else's flowers, you finally have permission to sit down under the tree you planted yourself and rest. No more worrying. If someone is upset because you didn't call, no more guilt-tripping messages, no more invisible scorecards keeping track of who gave more. Just the soft, sweet silence of knowing you are allowed to choose your peace over your popularity. And it's not selfish, it's survival, it's self-respect, It's the purest kind of freedom, the kind you earned. If you could gently release even one relationship today, one that tugs on your heart in a way that feels heavy instead of light, what would that feel like? Breathe into that possibility. You are allowed to walk gently away from what no longer feels like home. If you're still here, nodding along in your heart, leave me a little comment with the number 70 down below. It's our quiet way of saying, I'm still here, still listening, still healing. And if you feel comfortable, feel free to subscribe for more soft conversations like this, designed to make you feel safe, understood, and never alone. Reason 3, you have earned the right to be selective. William was always the nice guy. You know the type, always saying yes, always showing up, always making sure no one felt left out, even when he was tired, even when he wanted to say no, even when the invitations felt more like obligations. For decades, he carried the weight of being good in everyone's eyes. And though many smiled at him, few ever truly saw him. Then, on the morning of his 74th birthday, William woke up, sat by the window, and asked himself something he had never dared to ask before. What if I don't owe everyone my energy anymore? That quiet question changed everything. After a lifetime of trying to be everywhere for everyone, he gave himself a gift he had never allowed before. The gift of selectivity. At this beautiful stage of life, you have earned the sacred right to choose who you spend your precious hours with, what conversations you allow into your mind, which energies you welcome near your heart. You no longer need to be available to everyone. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to feel guilty. Not every invitation deserves a yes. Not every person deserves a seat at your table. And the people who are truly meant for you, the ones who cherish your soul, not just your presence, will never make you feel guilty for choosing peace. Imagine your life as a small, cozy house by the sea. You get to decide who comes in, and it's perfectly okay if you prefer the sound of the waves and the warmth of your own company to the noise of a crowded, restless room. Picture your energy like a soft flame, steady, golden, warm. Not everyone deserves to sit by your fire. Some only come to take its warmth without giving anything in return. You are allowed to protect your flame. You are allowed to keep it burning brightly just for yourself. Reason 4, independence strengthens your inner peace. Eleanor had always been someone's someone, a wife, a mother, a sister, a friend. Her days were filled with caretaking, tending, fixing, comforting. She was never alone, but rarely truly with herself. When her husband passed away after 48 years of marriage, the silence in her house felt unbearable at first. The ticking clock, the empty chair, the long afternoons stretching out like a road she didn't know how to walk. Well-meaning friends encouraged her to join clubs, take trips, fill her calendar. Stay busy, they said. Stay distracted. But Eleanor, with a quiet courage that surprised even her, chose another path. She let herself feel the silence. She let the house breathe again. She let her own soul rise to the surface, the part of her that had been quietly waiting for decades to be heard. At first, the loneliness was sharp, almost physical, but slowly, like the tide pulling back from the shore, it softened. What emerged was something she had never truly known, inner peace, not the kind that comes from distractions, not the kind that comes from being needed, but the kind that comes from being whole, without anyone else needing to fill the space. Independence, she realized, was not punishment. It was a blessing. It was an open sky she could finally fly through, without guilt or fear. And every day since, Eleanor has lived not out of emptiness, but out of fullness, her own beautiful fullness. Think of your life like a deep, quiet river. You do not need constant visitors on your banks to prove your river is beautiful. It flows strong and sure, even when no one is watching. Your independence is not a loss. It is a deep, steady current of your own sacred strength. If this message is lighting even the smallest candle inside your heart, leave a comment with the number 72 below. Let's quietly remind each other, I'm here, still growing, still glowing. And if you'd like to feel more of this peace week by week, consider subscribing. Our little circle here is for souls who are ready to walk gently but powerfully into their next chapter. Reason 5. You stop chasing approval and start living authentically. Frank had spent so much of his life being the easy one. At work, he was the one who never complained. At family gatherings, he laughed at jokes that stung a little too much. At church, he nodded along even when his heart disagreed. He wore kindness like armor, smiling through moments when he wanted to speak, to say no, to simply be honest, because deep down Frank had learned a dangerous lesson. If you upset people, they might leave you. And so, he built his life around keeping everyone else comfortable, even if it meant setting his own comfort aside. But something happens around 70, something gentle but unstoppable. You get tired, not just physically, but spiritually, of chasing approval. One evening, sitting alone by his fireplace, Frank realized, I've spent a lifetime worrying whether people like me. What if, for once, I start asking if I like me? It was a quiet revolution. It didn't happen overnight. But slowly, Frank began to speak a little more honestly, to stay home when his heart needed rest, to say no, thank you, without wrapping it in excuses. And to his surprise, the sky didn't fall. The people who truly loved him stayed. The ones who only loved his compliance drifted away, and it didn't hurt the way he thought it would. After 70, you realize something most people never learn. You are not here to be liked by everyone. You are here to be true to yourself. You are here to live honestly, to breathe deeply, to move gently in the direction of your own heart. And you discover that authenticity, being exactly who you are, without apology, is far sweeter than approval. Because real love, real friendship, real belonging, they never require you to shrink, to silence, or to pretend. They invite you to expand. Imagine yourself standing in a warm field, under a wide open sky. There is no one around to judge you, to measure you, to mold you. It's just you and the wind. That feeling, that freedom, is what living authentically feels like, and it's waiting for you whenever you are ready. Reason 6. True happiness grows from within, not from others. Diana spent most of her earlier years believing happiness was something you chased. It lived, she thought, in invitations tucked into mailboxes, in parties with music and laughter, in dinners where the table was full, even if her heart sometimes felt empty. The busier her calendar, the more alive she felt, or so she told herself. But when she moved at 71 to a quiet coastal town, leaving behind the endless noise, something unexpected happened. There were no endless parties, no buzzing phones, just long stretches of time, empty in the way that scared her at first. She thought she would wither. She thought loneliness would eat her alive. But instead, something delicate and beautiful began to bloom inside her. It started with small things, the gentle clink of her teacup on the saucer each morning, the way the ocean breathed against the sand like a living lullaby, the weight of a cozy blanket on a rainy afternoon, the feeling of finishing a book and sitting quietly with her own thoughts without rushing to share them. And slowly, she realized happiness was never hiding in the crowd. It was never dependent on how many friends she had or how often her phone rang. It had always been inside her, soft, patient, waiting. Real happiness, she discovered, is not noisy. It doesn't clamor for attention. It doesn't demand applause. It's quiet. It's steady. It's the peaceful hum inside your chest when you know truly that you are enough just as you are. And when happiness blooms from within, no one can take it from you. Not time, not distance, not even loss, because it is not built on the shifting sands of others. It is built in the solid, sacred place within your own soul. Picture your heart like a small lantern glowing in a vast, quiet forest. It does not need to shine for others to be beautiful. Its glow is enough, steady, warm, and utterly yours. Let your happiness be like that lantern, bright, even when no one else sees it. So if today your phone is quieter than it used to be, if your calendar is more empty than full, if your days stretch out like open fields instead of crowded highways, please know this: you are not failing, you are not forgotten, you are not less than because you are alone more often now. You are simply entering a different kind of beauty. A beauty that is less about noise and more about depth, less about crowds and more about connection, first with yourself and then quietly with life itself. You have earned the right to walk slower, to breathe deeper, to tend to your own soul without apology. And remember, you are your own best friend now. You always have been. You just needed the quiet to finally hear yourself whispering back, "I'm here, I'm enough, I'm home." If this message touched your heart today, even just a little, I would be honored if you liked this video, shared your reflections in the comments, and subscribed to join this quiet, growing circle of souls walking this peaceful path together. You are never truly alone, because every time you honor your own heart, you're connecting to the deepest, truest life there is. Until we meet again, take gentle care of your precious, shining soul.